Hey, welcome to our first pep talk made just for you, the MICDS NaNoWriMo RAMs. What's a pep talk, you ask? I don't know. Let's open up the dictionary and find out. Pep talk. A talk intended to make someone feel more courageous or enthusiastic. I thought maybe as we get towards the end of the first week of NaNoWriMo, it would help you feel more courageous and enthusiastic if you knew what was going on and if you knew what you were supposed to be doing. So let's review the 5, you can see that? Am I too close? It's my hand. The 5 most important things that you need to know during the first week of NaNoWriMo. Number 1, the website. You can get to the NaNoWriMo website in one of 2 ways. You can either go straight there, which a lot of you have already done, or you can go to the library website. On the left-hand side, there's a NaNoWriMo participant web badge. If you click on that, it'll take you to the NaNoWriMo Young Writers Program homepage. Let me highlight a few things on this homepage that you're going to want to be familiar with. On the left-hand side and all the way on the right-hand side are 2 areas that are always going to have a NaNoWriMo article that might be interesting for you to read. The writer's block articles are usually written by an author of some kind, and the Nano News are things that you'll want to know. In the middle, you've got the Dare Machine. We might look at that another week, but feel free to mess around with it. And as you scroll down, it's got links to some other things. How about the number 2 most important thing to know this week? And that is, there are a lot of people doing NaNoWriMo, both adults and through the Young Writers Program. So their website has been a little bit slow, if you've noticed. They're really working on bringing it back up to speed, so be patient with some things if it doesn't seem to work right away. Number 3. We have a virtual classroom. Let's explore how that works. Most of you have already gone to the page and registered and sent me your usernames, but in the top right-hand corner, once I've registered, I'm typing in my username up there, and then my password, and then I'm hitting login. And I'm still going to be on the same page, but if you notice, my name shows up on the little hello badge. To get to our virtual classroom, you're going to look for the link at the top that says My NaNoWriMo. I'm going to click on that, and that takes me to my own account information. This is where you can edit information about yourself, like your picture if you choose to put one in, or your word count. Let's look at the left-hand side on the sidebar. I'm going to scroll down, and this is how you edit things on these links here. I'm going to click on Edit User Settings, and that's going to take me to the main edit page. I can change my email address and my password and stuff here. I can upload a picture if I want. Some other things that are very important, I'll start with word count. Let me click on Novel Info, and that's going to be a place where I'm allowed to update my word count. If you want some more information about word count, go to our virtual classroom homepage, and there's a link there that'll explain word counts to you. But it's automatically set to 50,000. That's a lot of words. That's how many of the adults are writing in the NaNoWriMo program. Let's say I want to update mine to 8,000. That sounds great. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click Submit. So my word count goal has been updated. If you've already started writing and you want to update your word count, look at this little box in the upper left-hand corner by the Young Writers Program logo. Let's say I've written 273 words. I'm going to click Update. And you're going to see my little bar is creeping to the left. That's 3.4% of my goal. And then the next day I write 1,000 more. Wow. So then I would have 1,273, and I would click Update. And I'm already 16% towards my goal. To get to our virtual classroom, on the left-hand side, you need to click on Home for Virtual Classroom. And most of you have already been added to this group. But here's the home page for the MICDS NaNoWriMo RAMs. This is where you're going to find a lot of information specific to the MICDS group. I'll scroll down, and you're going to see a bulletin board with announcements. You're going to see a calendar, and you're going to see a bunch of links, like back to the library homepage or to our library's NaNoWriMo YouTube playlist, where there are a bunch of videos that are NaNoWriMo related, or a link to the NaNoWriMo Young Writers Program Twitter feed, where you can get updates from the Young Writers Program. If I scroll up, it's also going to have a link to my name, and if you click on my name, you're going to see my personal profile. It has my picture, and I haven't added novel info, but I've done the Nano magazine interview where I answered some of their questions about my favorite books and stuff like that. Let me go back to the virtual classroom home. There's also a place to check the progress of all the members on our team. It's going to show you, whoop, all those little green bars went up, and you can see how many words we've written on certain days. All right, and then there's a class list. There's also a forum, so if I click on the forum tab, That's where we can have discussions. And I've added one new discussion called Your First Nano Week. If I click on that, you can read the forum post and you can comment on it. Really, this is just asking, it says, hey NaNoWriMo Rams, tell us about your first week, what you've been doing, how the writing's going or not going, and your thoughts about NaNoWriMo in general. If you click reply right here, you can add your own comment. Go ahead and do that. We're going to have a lot of conversations online during NaNoWriMo 2010. Let's go back to your NaNoWriMo homepage real quick and just take a look at one more thing on our, involved with our virtual classroom that you need to know about. If I scroll down on the left-hand side, you're going to see a lot of links. Go ahead and poke around with those and see what they are. But I'm going to click on NaNoMail Inbox. And this is really important because the way I'm going to communicate with you about NaNoWriMo is through NaNoMail. I'll send you a message, and this is just like an email inbox specific to NaNoWriMo. Check your NaNoMail often because we don't want to spend a lot of time meeting like a club, after school, before school, that kind of stuff. We want you to spend that time writing. So this is how we'll communicate with you almost completely online through your NaNoMail and your forums on your virtual classroom. Número 4, or 4 if you don't take Spanish. And this is really important. There's never any kind of writing that you're actually doing on the NaNoWriMo website. There is something called a word count validator, and that's what you use at the end so that the NaNoWriMo robots can count all your words and see if you've met your word count goal. What you need to do is write in a word processing program like Microsoft Word or Apple's Pages or Google Documents, and make sure you save your work really often. Back it up. If you need help backing up your work, come up and see me in the library and I'll help you out. Last but not least, the number 5, most important thing to review on the first week of NaNoWriMo. You need to cage your inner editor. What does that mean? Well, you need to write, and write. You need to not edit at all. If you're anything like me, when you write something for an English class or a history class, you want to edit everything you do. I look at every sentence I write and have I written it grammatically correct? Is the spelling correct? I'm checking the little red lines under the spell check on Word every time. Turn those things off. Turn your grammar check off, turn your spell check off, and just write. Don't stop for any kind of editing because, you know, in NaNoWriMo, you can get kicked out for editing. When you finish, you can do that in December or January if you choose to edit. You might go off on a random tangent and describe a room or a tree for 500 words. You know what? That's perfectly fine. You might have some kind of crazy weird plot twist and you're writing about some historical event and all of a sudden your character's off in space somewhere. Perfectly fine. The point of NaNoWriMo is to get the most difficult part of writing out, the creative part. So for now, forget about editing and just write. Get the story out, let it fall out of your head, and however it comes out, leave it that way. So how do I do that? Well, I have to not be myself. And for me, that means getting rid of my normal baldness and putting on either a hat or a wig. When I wear a hat, actually, I don't wear wigs. That would be a little weird. But I do put a hat on because it reminds me as I write that I'm not editing. I'm just being crazy and I'm writing and I'm getting a story out. Find something that works for you that reminds you that no editing is allowed. So that's it for this pep talk. Remember to keep checking your NaNoMail and participating in our forums. And hey, congratulations to those of you who took exams on Friday. You can use this long weekend to write and write and write. But remember, no editing.